the gallop! Oh!
Fort Laramie. Fort Laramie, starring Raymond Burr as Captain Lee Quince. Specially transcribed tales of the dark and tragic ground of the wild frontier, the saga of fighting men who rode the rim of empire, and the dramatic story of Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry.
"83 men for duty. Hardy and Simmons in the hospital. 5 men on leave, Captain."
All right, Corporal Mercer. Just leave the morning report on the desk.
Yes, sir. One of the 3 new men is transferred out here from Fort Larned have been assigned a 2nd platoon, sir.
Come in.
Captain Quince, the supply train's on its way in.
Oh, good.
Lieutenant Syberts is sending the train on to the quartermaster's depot, but he said he'd be right here.
All right, thanks, Jenkins.
Oh. Supply train in from the railroad at Cheyenne, Captain. All stores is ordered.
Anything to report, Mr. Syberts?
Cracked hub, 2 mules lame, 1 destroyed, otherwise routine, sir.
Your command have a good time in Cheyenne?
I think they did. I noticed a few skinned knuckles.
Any complaints from the civilian authorities?
No, sir.
All right, Syberts. Sign out to the quartermaster. Water and turn your stock out in the South Range. Dismiss your men. They're relieved from further duty until... What's that buggy doing in your train?
Oh, I was going to tell you about that, sir. We had a passenger, a lady.
Lady?
Mrs. Wentner. She's the widow of an officer who was stationed here.
Oh, that must have been Captain Wentner.
Said he was killed by Cheyenne.
Oh, that's right. 3-4 years ago up in Lance Creek. His whole command was wiped out.
That was before my time. Wonder what she's doing here.
She didn't tell you?
No, sir. Handsome woman.
I take it you enjoyed your trip then, Mr. Syberts?
Not bad, sir. May I give you a hand, ma'am?
Thank you.
Miss Wentner, I'm Captain Quince. Welcome to Fort Laramie.
How do you do, Captain? Are you the post commandant?
No, ma'am. That would be Major Daggett. We didn't expect you, Mrs. Wentner. Perhaps your letter was delayed.
There was no letter. I told no one I was coming.
If we had, we might have arranged a more fitting reception and better transportation.
This was quite satisfactory. I rented the horse and buggy in Cheyenne, and the lieutenant furnished me a driver. You were very considerate, Lieutenant Syberts.
Thank you, Mrs. Wentner. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll get back to the train.
Of course. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Pleasure, ma'am.
If you'll come with me, Mrs. Wentner, I'll take you in to meet Major Daggett.
All right, Captain. Thank you.
Take care of the horse and buggy, Jenkins.
Yes, sir.
Did you know my husband, Captain Quince?
Why, yes.
Out here?
That's right.
I don't remember him mentioning you in his letters, but it seems to me there was a Quince in his class at West Point.
Oh, I wasn't at the point, Mrs. Wentner. I was commissioned in the field at Shenandoah. Up from the ranks.
Oh, I see.
Here we are.
Come in.
Oh. Major Daggett, this is Mrs. Wentner. Just came in with a supply train.
Oh, this is a pleasure, Mrs. Wentner?
That's right, Major. I'm Philip Wentner's widow.
Oh, yes. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
I didn't know your husband myself, Mrs. Wentner, but I've been assured that his death was a great loss to the Army. Even more tragic for yourself, of course.
It was a horrible thing. And even worse, a terrible, unnecessary thing. He could have been safe in Washington. I arranged it all with the president himself.
I see.
I could never understand why Philip refused it, but he was a stubborn man.
Well, he was very popular here, I understand. Isn't that right, Captain Quince?
He was a good field officer, Miss Wintner. Perhaps he wouldn't have been happy at some desk in Washington.
It might have been better for him to be a little unhappy and alive today, mightn't it, Captain?
That's hard to say, ma'am.
Well, at any rate, we're happy to have you here, Mrs. Wintner. Sorry we weren't prepared, but I'm sure Mrs. Daggett will be able to arrange things comfortably. You'll stay with my wife and me, of course.
Thank you, Major.
And perhaps we can use your visit as an excuse to liven things up around here. We've had very few social activities. Might even arrange a reception or something of the sort.
Major Daggett, I'm not here for social reasons.
Well, what I meant was...
Major Daggett, I came to get my husband's body.
Mrs. Wintner, your husband's not buried here at the fort.
I know that. But you see, I want him recovered and taken back east. I've arranged that he will be buried with full military honors in Arlington Cemetery.
But his grave is 100 miles from here, up on Lance Creek, where he was killed.
I've already come 2,000 miles. Another 100 doesn't matter.
I don't think you understand. That's Indian territory. Cheyenne and Sioux hunting ground, treaty territory. Aside from the very real danger, my orders strictly forbid any white person to enter that region, including my own troopers.
Perhaps this letter will clear your mind. You will see it signed by the Secretary of War himself.
Yeah. Yes, I see.
So, Major Daggett, I shall want to leave for Lance Creek as soon as possible.
And you expect me to send you there with a troop escort, of course?
The letter says every assistance possible.
It also says within the scope of my orders and with due consideration for your safety.
I'm not worried about my safety, Major Daggett.
But I am.
But in a case like this...
There are no exceptions mentioned, Mrs. Wintner.
What do I care about a treaty with those savages who murdered my husband?
The treaty was made, ma'am, to prevent other men from dying the way your husband did.
Captain Quince, I'm beginning to understand why these Indian troubles go on and on. I've wondered about that. Wondered why you didn't just wipe them out. I think you're afraid of them.
It's not that easy. The Indians are people, too. They have rights.
I'm not interested in their rights, Captain Quince. And I'm not interested in your orders, Major Daggett. Am I to understand that you refuse to allow me to go to Lance Creek?
That's correct. I can't risk your life nor the lives of my men. And I won't risk a general Indian war.
Very well. Captain Quince, would you be good enough to show me to my quarters?
Of course, ma'am. Company! Right front in the line!
Right front in the line!
Ho! Company! Ho! Sergeant Gord.
Yes, sir.
Dismiss the company.
Yes, sir. Company, prepare to dismount. Dismount. Fire off.
Well, Captain Quince, it's all very impressive. The parade ground, the drilling.
Yes, it is, Miss Wintner.
Until you remember that in spite of all the military show, you're still afraid to face the Indians.
Have you completed your tour of inspection?
Yes. Lieutenant Seibert's has shown me everything, I think. It's all very interesting. Seeing the place that Philip called home. There's one thing I'd like explained, however.
What's that, ma'am?
What could possibly have held him here? What holds you, Captain Quince?
A I'm afraid I can't explain it to you, Mrs. Wintner.
I'm sure you couldn't.
May I escort you to your quarters?
Thank you. I've noticed several men dressed in buckskins lounging about the store. The sutlers, you call it. Who are they?
Civilian scouts. It's Charlie Reynolds, Will Granby, Pete Hazen.
It was one of them, wasn't it, who found my husband up on Lance Creek?
Yes, ma'am. Pete Hazen. He led the burial detail back.
I must talk to him sometime.
He's under the major's orders, too, ma'am.
I meant, Captain Quince, he might be able to tell me things about my husband. Things a wife would like to know.
Of course, ma'am.
You don't like me, do you, Captain?
I don't know you well enough to like or dislike you, Mrs. Wintner. But it seems plain to me that you intend to disregard every consideration to get to Lance Creek.
If you'll excuse me.
Come in.
Captain Quint's reporting, sir.
Oh, Lee. I've just been thinking, Caldwell's due for a leave. Who can we send out to the Clearwater Patrol as replacement? Is Seibert's too green?
No, he'll do. He's come along fast.
All right, good.
Major, what about Mrs. Wintner?
Well, what about her?
I think she's going to make trouble.
I don't think she can. I've kept a check at the telegraph office and the mail. I think she's accepting the inevitable.
I don't. I think she's determined to go to Lance Creek, one way or another.
How can she, if I won't let her?
I don't know, but I think you better warn the civilian scouts, especially Pete Hazen.
He wouldn't be that much of a fool.
I wouldn't think so either. But with her, anything can happen.
I believe that. She's quite a woman. Oh, by the way, the evening social's all set up for Saturday night. Nettie's sending out the invitations today. Having a small dinner first. You're supposed to come.
Oh?
As Mrs. Wintner's escort.
Why me?
Well, you're an inmate of Old Bedlam. You're eligible.
There are other bachelor officers living there, Seibert's.
Youngsters. She's more your age. Now, don't fight it, Lee. Nettie's mind's made up.
Only one thing I don't like about your wife, Major. She's a matchmaker.
Yeah, I know. She can't help herself. Hates to see an unmarried officer, especially one as old as you. But after all, Mrs. Wintner is a widow and mighty attractive. You could do worse.
Major, some women are Army, some aren't. When Phil Wintner came out to Laramie, he came alone.
She seems to fit in fine now. Maybe she's changed.
Women like that don't change.
Just the same, you'll escort her Saturday night. You better present your compliments to her tomorrow afternoon.
That an order, sir?
Tomorrow afternoon, Lee. White gloves.
Oh, Captain Quince.
Afternoon, Mrs. Daggett. I'd like to present my compliments to Mrs. Wintner.
Why, yes, of course, Captain. Only, well...
What is it, Miss Daggett?
Well, it's very strange. But last night, Carolyn asked not to be disturbed this morning. Said she wanted to sleep late. But when she didn't come out, even for luncheon, I got worried. So a few minutes ago, I knocked and looked in her room. She's not there, Captain. She didn't sleep in her bed last night. Captain, where are you going?
To the settlers, Miss Daggett. You better tell the Major.
Lee, what do you make of it?
It's very simple, Major. Mrs. Wintner was last seen last night. Pete Hazen left sometime before dawn with 2 loaded pack mules, 2 horses, 1 rig side saddle. He left this at the settlers for you with a $20 gold piece. Guess it's his resignation. Didn't want to get arrested for disobeying orders.
Yeah, you're right.
They're on their way to Lance Creek. They got at least 11 hours start.
They've got to be stopped.
Yeah, if they're still alive.
How long will it take you to get B Company ready?
Too long. Besides, a full company up there will mean war.
You think you can get a small detachment through, 5 or 6 men?
I can try. And if we're caught, we might be able to talk our way out of it.
Well, they can't be moving very fast.
I'd say I could catch them about halfway.
All right, Lee. Take the men you want and an extra amount for each. Rations for 4 days and 200 rounds of ammunition.
50 rounds will be enough, Major. We have to fight it all. It won't matter how much ammunition we have.
I've lost their tracks, Captain.
There, over there, Gorse.
Oh, yeah, that's it. I'd never believed it, Captain. 2 days from the fort almost to Lance Creek, and they're still ahead of us.
I underestimated that woman. She's tougher than I thought.
She sure must be. Captain,
Yep, and they've seen us.
they've stopped.
Ho! Miss Wintner?
How do you do, Captain?
She gave me an awful lot of money, Captain, more than I'd ever seen in one piece.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
You're not going to stop me now, Captain. Mr. Hazen says the graves are just over that ridge there.
Miss Wintner, we're going to turn around right here and head back to the fort as fast as we can make it. Do you have any idea of the danger?
Captain, up there on the hill,
Yeah, I see.
riding circle, signaling.
Why, that's an Indian.
It is, Miss Wintner.
Oh,
Captain, what are you gonna do?
Might as well go on up to Lance Creek. Do what the lady came to do.
This is it. Right over there. This one.
just this?
That's it.
You're sure?
His insignia will be inside the rocks.
It's so quiet here. So peaceful.
Right now it is. Get a spade, Jenkins.
Yes, sir.
Miss Wintner, you sure you want to go through with this?
What do you mean, Captain?
Why, it wasn't time for a proper burial.
I see. Did they do anything to him?
Cheyenne always do.
You may proceed.
All right, Jenkins. Miss Wintner, why don't you wait over there?
Captain Quince, I'm not a schoolgirl. I came this far. I can stand to watch.
All right. Pete, who was this?
That there was Sergeant Tackleberry, Captain.
One with a red mustache, Captain?
And a laugh you could hear clean across the river.
Yeah, I remember.
And that one there was Lieutenant Williams.
Yep.
Captain, is that the Lieutenant Williams my husband used to speak about in his letters?
I expect so. They were friends. All these men were his friends. Men who lived with him, fought with him, died with him. He wasn't alone, Miss Wintner. They're all buried here where they fell.
I see. Mr. Jenkins.
Ma'am?
Stop digging for a moment. Captain, you don't want me to do this.
I don't think your husband would care about being buried in Arlington Cemetery.
Why? Tell me, Captain Quince. You knew him. What was he like out here?
Like any other man, not very different. But he liked it. Liked the country, the men, liked the job. He was willing to die here if necessary.
Are you trying to say that he came here to get away? That he didn't want to go back home? That he didn't care about me?
He never talked about you, Miss Wentner.
Captain, all I want to do is take him back to a hero's grave.
He's in a hero's grave. Nothing you or I can do will add to that.
You think I'm a selfish woman. I was thinking only of myself, of my pride.
Only you can answer that, Miss Wentner.
On the ridge, Captain.
Yeah, they didn't waste any time.
Must have been a hunting party close. They're coming down.
Must be 30 at least. Doesn't give us much chance, Captain.
Oh,
It's important to keep calm, Miss Wentner. Very important right now.
what have I done? Bringing you men here to this.
We may be able to get out of it yet. Talbot, keep those horses under control. When they get a whiff of those Indian ponies. Mrs. Wentner, what are you doing?
If anything's going to happen, I want his grave just the way it was.
Jenkins, help her.
Yes, sir.
Sergeant Gorse,
Yes, sir.
watch her. Stay right behind her. If the Indians attack you, you know what to do.
Yes, sir.
Don't miss.
I won't.
What do you think, Hazen?
Can't tell yet. They're still bunched, ain't hurrying. But they ain't gonna be friendly.
No, we're uninvited guests. Can't expect much.
They're down and stringing out.
And stopping. Right across the only way out.
Well, they won't come any closer to the graves. Cheyenne custom, respect for the dead. Even the dead they killed. We're safe as long as we stay right here.
How long can we stay, Pete?
Captain, we might try cutting up over the ridge.
No, the minute we break and run, we're finished. I'll go out to him.
Might as well all go, Captain. There'll be no defending ourselves anyways.
All right. Miss Wentner?
Looks all right now, doesn't it, Captain?
Yes, it does. Well, ma'am?
Don't worry, I'll be fine.
Good. Now, everybody will move slowly forward, leading your horses. Move easily. Don't show any fear or excitement.
It's Little Bear, Captain.
At least he can talk some. I won't have to use sign.
That's right, Captain.
I'll do the talking, Hazen.
Sure.
Greetings to Little Bear.
White soldier, give promise. Stay off Cheyenne hunting ground. Why you come?
We come in peace, not war. We don't want trouble with the Cheyenne. They don't want trouble with us.
Treaties say you stay out.
I know
I
that
made them come.
the white lady came to find the grave of her husband. A warrior killed in battle here. She wants to take his body back to his home, to Washington.
What warrior?
The little captain. The captain with the yellow hair.
That one great warrior.
Captain, these are the Indians.
That's right, ma'am. Little Bear, the Cheyenne had great warriors killed here, too. But the Cheyenne could take their dead away to their proper burial place. Will Little Bear allow us to take this warrior with us and leave the hunting ground in peace?
Better leave spirit of dead in peace.
In Washington, there is a place to bury great warriors with much honor. She will take him there.
Better leave dead buried.
All right, Captain. We'll leave him. He's right. I know that now. Philip is better off here, in his hero's grave.
All right, ma'am. Will Little Bear allow us to leave the hunting grounds in peace?
Go.
Thank you, Little Bear. All right. Everybody mount up. Easy. We'll move out now before he changes his mind. Sergeant Gorse, how does it look behind?
They're turning away. I figure it's all right.
We'll keep the horses at walk just the same for a while.
Yes, sir.
Captain. Thank you.
What for, Mrs. Wentner? It was probably your presence that saved us and what you said.
No, I mean, for teaching me a lesson.
Not me, Miss Wentner. Let's say this country out here. It can teach you a lot of lessons. Maybe I was wrong about something, too.
What?
Oh, just something I said about people not changing. Just something I said. You know, we keep moving. We might be able to make the Daggett Social Saturday night.
Fort Laramie is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald and stars Raymond Burr as Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry, with Vic Perrin as Sergeant Gorse. The script was specially written for Fort Laramie by John Dunkel, with sound patterns by Bill James and Ray Kemper. Musical supervision by Amerigo Marino. Featured in the cast were Virginia Gregg, Jack Moyles, Harry Bartell, Jack Crucian, Helen Klebe, Joseph Cranston, and James Nusser.
Company, tension! Dismiss.
Next week, another transcribed story of the Northwest frontier and the troopers who fought under Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry. Half a loaf may be better than none at all when you're bargaining for bread. But every Sunday, the Edgar Bergen Show calls for a happier arrangement than that. For each half of the Edgar Bergen Show seems somehow to be better than the other half. And with so much fun in store, there's no need for compromise. Enjoy all of the lighthearted antics of Edgar Bergen, Charlie McCarthy, Jack Kirkwood, Effie Clinker, Mortimer Snerd, Gary Crosby, Carol Richards, and the famous Edgar Bergen End Table Discussion Group. They'll all be with you again over most of these same stations every Sunday night.
At the gallop! Ho!
Fort Laramie. Fort Laramie, starring Raymond Burr as Captain Lee Quince. Specially transcribed tales of the dark and tragic ground of the wild frontier, the saga of fighting men who rode the rim of empire, and the dramatic story of Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry.
Well, I still don't understand it, Captain.
I don't imagine the War Department worries itself about what you and I think, Gorse.
What I mean is, it only makes plain sense that a troop of men ought to be called a troop, not a company.
What's wrong with company, Sergeant?
I don't know, Captain, but it kind of makes us out to be an infantry outfit, don't it?
That bothers you?
I joined the cavalry, not a bunch of road builders and day laborers.
I'm not sure Captain Lawson and his men would like to hear themselves called that.
Well, I didn't exactly mean any disrespect to him, sir. I know any frontier post ought to have some infantry stationed on it. But I just think somebody ought to get around to changing the designation company.
A good enough name during the Civil War.
I guess so.
Oh, cheer up, Gorse. May take 'em 10 years, but sooner or later they'll change it. And I'll be commanding a troop instead of a company.
Yes, sir. I'll be a whole heap older by 85, and I'll sure feel better about it.
All right, Sergeant. Have Corporal Mercer make out some copies of this, then post one at the saddler shop, another at the AQM stores.
Yes, sir. Captain?
What is it?
Looks like Lieutenant Seibert's and the men coming through the main gate now, sir.
Yeah, they're about 7 hours late. Come on. We'll go meet him.
Platoon! Up! Prepare to dismount! Dismount!
That's pretty ragged.
Yes, sir.
Sergeant Glasser, take over. Dismiss the platoon.
Sergeant Gorse, have Lieutenant Seibert's report to the orderly room as soon as he's free.
Yes, sir.
Well?
Captain...
What is it, Gorse? Say it out.
Lieutenant Seibert's is awful young, and he come here straight from the point.
I know that, Sergeant. You want me to be patient with him, that it?
Something like that, sir.
This is Indian country, Gorse. There's not time for a man to be young. I've been patient with him for 3 months now.
Yes, sir. But there's something else this time.
What's that?
His column out there's one man short.
I can see the empty saddle, too, Sergeant. Just have the lieutenant report to me.
Yes, sir.
Lieutenant Seibert's reporting the captain is ordered.
Stand at ease, Mr. Seiberts. You've just completed a fairly routine mission, Mr. Seiberts. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
If I recall, your orders were simply to take a platoon from B Company, proceed along the wagon road to Fort Collins, accept delivery of 60 remounts from Garrison Quartermaster, and return to Fort Laramie.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
You were to hold strictly to the route assigned, avoid all contact with Indian irregulars or any action which might provoke hostilities or reprisals. Were those your orders or not?
Yes, sir. They were.
Were they clear? Did you understand them?
Yes, sir, but...
Just ride to Fort Collins and bring back 60 horses. Those were your orders. Now, why didn't you carry them out?
I did, sir, until circumstances changed things.
Circumstances never change an order. The most you can do is alter the way you carry it out. All right, let's take a look at the way you carried out your orders.
Sir,
Up until last night when you bivouacked, everything had been normal. Then, during the night, a band of Indians jumped you and got away with 35 head of horses. Why? Because you'd already violated one order, a standing order applying to all night camps in Indian country, to use 4 sentries on the picket line and 4 more out in the points. You'd only posted 3 altogether.
We were only 4 hours from the fort, sir. I thought...
Then you violated 3 more orders. You sent a detail into the fort with the horses you had left, and you led the rest of the column in pursuit of the Indians.
But, sir,
In doing so, you left your assigned route, you made deliberate contact with the Indians, and you committed an act you knew would provoke hostilities. In fact, you did everything but tear up your orders and feed them to your mount.
But they'd stolen the horses, sir, and those horses had been placed in my charge. I couldn't let them get away with it.
Why couldn't you? You're an officer of the United States Cavalry, Mr. Syberts. You're not permitted the privilege of getting mad and hitting back. We've got a job to do out here, a tough one. To keep order over an area of 10,000 square miles, and to do it without men or the guns we need.
I know that, sir.
We're sitting on a powder keg, Lieutenant, every minute of the day and night, and don't you ever forget it. Just because some Indian strikes a match, that gives you no excuse to light one in return. That clear?
Yes, sir.
You brought back an empty saddle. How did it happen?
We were ambushed, sir. Private Linley was killed in the first volley. Corporal Dean and Private Wagner were wounded. We killed 2 of the hostiles before withdrawing.
Did you bring in Linley's body?
I'm sorry, sir. We were unable to recover it.
All right, that's all, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir. Captain Quince, shall I expect a board of inquiry?
That's up to the Major.
Sir, won't he go by your recommendation?
I can't be expected to cover up for every green lieutenant who comes off the point. I'll give him the facts.
Without recommendation?
That'll be all, Mr. Syberts.
Yes, sir.
Now, just a minute, Captain. You can't expect to cover up for every green lieutenant who comes off the point.
And I wouldn't attempt it, Major, but I still accept full responsibility for Mr. Sybert's actions.
Actions? The way I hear it, unofficially, of course, he simply lost his head, violated his orders.
Maybe I didn't make the orders clear to him, sir.
Clear to him? How could he possibly misunderstand a simple mission like that?
He's young, Major. We do things different out here on the frontier. It takes a while to ease into it.
We haven't got a while.
He'll realize that, sir.
Left his route, attacked a band of Indians, and Lord knows what else.
Major Daggett, you asking me for a detailed report?
Yes, of course I'm asking for... Oh, no. No, by heaven, you've already accepted responsibility. I don't want to know the details, at least not officially.
Whatever you want, sir.
You mean whatever you want? Confounded Lee, you mother that troop of yours like an old hen with a flock of chicks.
Yes, sir.
You'll take 'em out in the woodshed and whale the daylights out of them yourself, but you'll be hanged if you'll ever let the neighbors find it.
Yes, sir.
All right, you've accepted responsibility, so I'll let it go at that.
Good.
Provided you also accept the responsibility for pulling us out of the fire. A band of renegades, whoever they were, have attacked a cavalry column, stolen 35 horses, and killed a trooper. If they get away with it, more Indians will jump reservation and join up with them.
I think we can prevent that, Major. With your permission, I'd like to have a try at it.
What'll you need?
40 picked men from B Company, a second in command, and half a dozen of the best Indian scouts at the fort. Quanto for one, Dancing Fox, and maybe Will Granby and Pete Hazen.
All right. Who'll you take as your second? Peterson?
No, sir. Lieutenant Syberts.
You're handicapping yourself.
I'd like to move out by 1 o'clock. That way a forced march will put us at the site of the ambush before dark.
All right, Captain Quince. Make your arrangements.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, and Captain.
Yes, sir?
Good luck.
Thank you, sir. Sergeant Gores?
Yes, sir?
Just what do you find so funny?
What? Nothing, Captain. Nothing at all.
Caleb!
Lieutenant Seibert's reporting, sir. We're ready to move out on order.
Good. Sergeant Gorse?
Yes, sir?
What do the scouts say?
Quanto talked with the scouts that were with the lieutenant at the ambush, sir. He's pretty sure they're a bunch of Cheyenne, Bison clan, with Squaw Dog leading them.
Squaw Dog. How many braves?
Around 30, sir. And Quanto thinks they won't be very far away.
I agree with him. This time of year, they're not likely to go north of the Laramie Mountains or west of the Sweetwater Ridge. 10 to 1, they'll hole up somewhere in the Butte country this side of the Laramie foothills.
Well, that's what Quanto thinks, too, sir.
All right, Sergeant. Tell Quanto and the other scouts to move out. They can cut the sign at the side of the ambush before the column arrives. We'll be there at 5.
Yes, sir. Quanto, you and Will Granby move out.
All right, Mr. Seiberts. Post.
Column! Check! Prepare to mount!
Prepare to mount!
Mount! The guide is left, soldier.
Scouts have moved out, sir.
Right, Sergeant. You, get coffee this morning, Gorse?
Yes, sir.
I'm glad. I have a feeling it might be a spell before you get any more. Mr. Seibert?
Yes, sir.
You will move out with a point. Once we clear the fort, you will deploy the men as skirmishers.
Yes, sir.
By the column of 2's left. On the guidon. Forward!
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 Ho!
Captain,
What is it, Gorse?
I sure do like getting out in the open air now and then.
I just hope you feel that way 2 days from now.
I think I will, sir. I think I will.
Lieutenant Seibert's reporting, sir.
Yes, Lieutenant?
I've checked over the mount, sir. They're standing it well, all in good shape. Private Harrison's mount has a stone bruise, not serious.
Fine. Hey, got a match, Seibert's?
Yes, sir. Here you are.
Thanks. Sit down. Rest your feet.
Thank you, sir. Captain, may I ask what the plans are?
We'll let the men rest here till midnight, then push on north following the river. Unless Quanto or one of the other scouts makes contact before then.
And after that, sir, when we find Squaw Dog and his men?
No plans. At least no detailed plans. As a matter of information, Lieutenant, or instruction, as you might say, I'm operating under one general order. To get the horses back, punish the Indians responsible for stealing them and for killing Private Linley, and do it without starting a blood feud.
You pardon my saying it, sir. It sounds like a difficult mission.
Most of the jobs the cavalry does out here are difficult, Lieutenant. In time you'll realize that.
I'm beginning to, sir.
Hope so.
Who goes there? Advance and be recognized. 1, 2, go.
Captain Quince, it's Quanto, sir.
Over here! Any luck, Quanto?
Much luck. Fine Squaw Dog.
Where?
Upriver at Ponowico Fork, 1 mile west. Camp in Buttes.
Ponowico Fork. And a forced march, we can make it before dawn. Corporal Mercer, get my horse.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Seiberts, I'm going to ride out with Quanto and get a look at him. You'll take command of the column.
Yes, sir.
Have the men tie down their bridle chains, muffle all equipment. Stay by the river, but keep moving. Wait at the fork if I haven't rejoined you. Sergeant Gorse knows where it is. That clear now?
Yes, sir.
All right, Quanto, lead out. Carry on, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir. Bugler! Sound boots and saddles.
Yes, sir.
Sergeant Gorse.
Yes, sir.
We'll move out in 10 minutes.
Well, that's them, all right, Lieutenant. If it was anybody else, a point flanker would have stopped him.
Wonder what he plans to do.
I just wouldn't know, sir. I never try to outguess the captain.
He's a good officer, Sergeant Gorse.
You couldn't find any better, sir. When we got a little time, I want to tell you something else about him.
Made good time, Mr. Syberts.
Thank you, sir.
Be full dawn in about half an hour. Things are working out fine. There are about 30 of them camped in a narrow ravine between those two buttes there to the west.
Luck sure is with us, Captain.
The ravine's about 150 yards long. Only way out's at either end. Sides are too steep to climb. So here's what we'll do. Sergeant Gorse will send 4 men to each of those 2 buttes. They'll climb on foot, take positions on the rim of the ravine looking down on Squaw Dog's camp. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Lieutenant, you'll take 12 men and circle south to come up on the far side of the buttes. You'll approach on foot, establish a skirmish line to command the mouth of the ravine. It's all broken ground. There's plenty of cover. You'll have 20 minutes to get in position. That clear?
Yes, sir.
I'll move in, cover this end of the ravine. You'll fire at will on your own discretion as soon as you hear my guns open up. And with this point in mind, don't kill a single Indian unless you have to keep from being overrun.
But sir...
That's an order, Lieutenant. This whole operation has just one purpose. I want Squaw Dog to realize one thing fast, that he's trapped, and that we can kill him and every one of his braves if we so choose. After that, we'll just see what happens. That clear to both of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, move out.
It's 20 minutes now, Captain.
Then we'll assume Syberts is in place. All right, Sergeant, let's wake him up.
Yes, sir. Prepare to fire. Ready? Fire!
Hit him again, Sergeant.
Ready? Fire! At the ready, hold!
Well, that ought to show him it'll be a little rough trying to come out this end.
He ain't even going to try it, sir. Not one brave has shown up at the end of that ravine. There go the boys up on the rim.
That'll give him something else to think about. Well, he ought to run into Syberts down there at the far end any second now.
There he goes now.
We've stopped firing. We've turned him back. Well, Gorse, I guess we can settle back now and wait.
What do you figure Squaw Dog's going to do, sir?
I know what I'd do. I'd hightail it out here and talk things over. You got a match, Sergeant?
No, that to be not.
If Squaw Dog wishes to say something to the captain, let him get off his horse and speak the English he learned in mission school. And let him hand me his rifle.
Squaw Dog, ask why it is white man's soldier attack peaceful hunting party.
Is it possible Squaw Dog thinks I'm a fool?
All Cheyenne know. captain is wiser of all men.
Then is it possible that Squaw Dog has lost his eyesight and gone blind?
Squaw Dog sees like the eagle.
Then why can't he see 35 horses in there, in that ravine, with the mark of the white man's government on their flanks? Or is it possible that some of the chief's braves have made a fool of him?
A fool?
Could it be that some of them have stolen horses and killed a soldier of the white man's army, and Squaw Dog knows nothing about it? Could it be that they've lied to you? Told you they traded for the horses? Are you a chief, Squaw Dog? Or a fool whose men laugh at him behind his back?
I am a chief.
Then why are you not able to control your men? Why are they able to fool you so easily? Have you lost your authority?
I am chief.
If you were chief, you would identify the guilty men and punish them yourself. Why is it necessary for the white man's army to do your job for you?
I do not know who does this thing.
Well, I'll give you 5 minutes to find out. And if you can't, then we'll look for the guilty men with bullets. And a bullet has no eyes, Squaw Dog. It can't tell the guilty from the innocent.
How many brave you say do this thing?
I don't know. But one trooper was killed. I'd say it would take about 4 braves to kill a trooper.
Squaw Dog, go now.
Just 5 minutes. And when you come out, leave the government horses in the ravine and leave your rifles there, too.
We do not keep rifle.
You do not. It may help remind you to supervise your braves more closely in the future. Now get going.
The 5 minutes are just about up, Captain.
Yeah. He may decide to fight, but I was hoping he'd take the bait.
He took the bait, Captain.
Yeah. Well, it's rough justice, but it's better than a blood feud and a punitive campaign by a full regiment.
There they come, sir. They're riding out.
All right. Let Mr. Syberts know he can follow him through.
Yes, sir. Bugler, sound recall. Well, they probably shot the 4 oldest.
Probably. Have Squaw Dog and his braves stand by till Lieutenant Syberts gets here. He took part in the action. He has a right to share the surrender.
Yes, sir.
Guilty braves are punished. Squaw Dog is free to go now.
Yes? You have my permission.
Now go. Kilani.
Oh, just one more thing, Squaw Dog. Every chief should have a rifle, but you have none.
No.
I will permit you to have a rifle, Squaw Dog. Here, take this one. Now, go in peace.
Peace. Bye. Yeah.
That bloody old reprobate.
Revenge is a luxury out here on the frontier, Sergeant. Better this way in the long run.
Captain, why'd you give him back his gun?
Because that gun will break his back, Lieutenant. He took that rifle off of Trooper Linley's dead body. I saw the serial number. That made him a big man with the clans. But then we outfoxed him, forced him into a spot where he had to execute his own braves to save his skin. And as a final gesture of contempt, I gave him back the gun. That'll break him. It'll save lives in the long run. They'll laugh him off the reservation before the month's out, and... What's wrong, Lieutenant?
I caught a bullet, sir. One of the Indians at the other end of the ravine. It's not serious.
Why didn't you get attended to?
Well, I had direct orders to report to you at once.
A bullet wound's an exception, Lieutenant. Go find Corporal Grayley and get him to dress that.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir?
About that board of inquiry.
I heard about it, sir.
Who from?
Sergeant Gorse, sir.
Gorse?
Captain, he's going to do all right. He'll make a good soldier.
He'll do better than that, Sergeant. He'll make a good cavalryman.
Fort Laramie is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald and stars Raymond Burr as Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry, with Vic Perrin as Sergeant Gorse. The script was specially written for Fort Laramie by Les Crutchfield, with sound patterns by Bill James and Ray Kemper. Musical supervision by Amerigo Marino. Featured in the cast were Harry Bartell, Jack Moyles, Joseph Cranston, and John Daner.
Company, tension! Dismiss!
Next week, another transcribed story of the Northwest frontier and the troopers who fought under Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry. Now, a public service message from CBS Radio. In time of flood or fire or other disaster, feeling sorry for the victims is not enough in itself to help those victims resume their normal ways of life. When disaster strikes, someone must be on the spot and on the job to help. And with your support, the Red Cross will be on the job wherever and whenever emergencies arise. Join and serve your local Red Cross chapter now and enjoy knowing that your membership and your contributions are helping people when a need arises throughout the months ahead.
At the gallop! Ho!
Fort Laramie. Fort Laramie, starring Raymond Burr as Captain Lee Quince. Specially transcribed tales of the dark and tragic ground of the wild frontier, the saga of fighting men who rode the rim of empire, and the dramatic story of Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry.
Mr. Syberts! Mr. Syberts!
Yes, Captain.
We're wasting our fire at this range. Pass the word. Men are to flank the canyon, dig in, and hold their positions.
And their fire, sir?
Cease fire.
But they'll think we've quit, sir.
I hope they do, Mr. Syberts.
Yes, sir. Captain, what about your leg?
It's fine. Now pass the word, Mr. Syberts.
Right away, sir. Cease fire. Cease fire. Flank the canyon, dig in, and hold your position. Cease fire.
Gorse! Sergeant Gorse!
Yo!
Right here, Captain.
Give me a hand. Behind that boulder.
Yes, sir. Can you bear weight on that leg?
I can get behind that boulder.
Are you easy now, sir?
Don't know when I've been more comfortable.
If you're dry, I got part of a canteen here.
No, save it. You'll need it.
Captain, there's a clearing about 100 yards back. We got the horses back there. Harrison and me together get you there.
I'm fine here, Sergeant.
Well, you'd rest a mite easier there, sir.
Maybe you ought to take up nursing, Gorse. You're developing a fine manner for it.
Well, sir, I reckon it's all this easy living. It's kind of got me soft.
Go back to your position, Sergeant, and dig in.
Flanking the canyon this way, you must be figuring them Injuns will try another run-through.
No use 40 men spreading thin against 200-300 Arapaho.
Yes, sir.
Go on back, Gorse. Send Lieutenant Syberts here.
Right, sir. Lieutenant Syberts.
You sent for me, sir?
Men have their orders.
All down the line.
How about ammunition?
We've enough, sir.
What's enough?
Well, sir, I
Enough
think...
to lead a charge down the canyon and run them off?
No, I don't believe so.
Enough to hold our ground here and stand off an assault?
That would depend on the size of the assault.
Mr. Syberts, there are at least 200 Arapaho firing what's left of our camp down there. I want to know if we can hold these positions.
Not long, sir. Not if they turn on us full force.
Then we don't have enough ammunition, do we, Mr. Syberts?
No, sir, I guess not. What do we do, Captain?
Sit here. Hope they think they wiped us out in their last run-through.
That why you ordered the men to hold their fire?
That's why.
They're riding off, Captain.
Don't look like they counted us too important, Captain Quince.
That a complaint, Sergeant?
No, sir. I was born plain insignificant. I mean to stay that way.
Help me get the captain back to the clearing, Sergeant. His leg needs attention.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Syberts. We can't waste any more daylight. You have 6 hours of good riding left before nightfall.
Sir, you can't ride hard. You've lost a lot of blood.
The patrol's going back to the fort under your command, Mr. Syberts. Harrison and I'll take it in easy stages.
We can't leave you here, sir.
Mr. Syberts, you'll reach Fort Laramie tomorrow night, if you're lucky. Major Daggett needs a full report as soon as possible.
Captain Quince, sir, we could strap you in your saddle.
No need for that, Sergeant. I'd slow you up, and Major Daggett needs that report. Now, send Harrison to me. Prepare to move out.
I know this country better than Harrison, Captain.
Mr. Syberts will need you, Gorse. This will be good experience for my orderly.
Yes, Captain. Patrol, report to the clearing. Check your mouth.
Well,
prepare to move out.
Good luck, Mr. Syberts.
Thank you, Captain.
Report to the clearing now.
Good luck to you, sir.
You're all played out, aren't you, sir?
There's fresh water ahead. To the left there. That clump of trees.
You can't go on just water, Captain.
A little help. We can water the horses, too.
Not much sunlight left. I hoped we'd find a settler where we could bed down for the night.
This is Arapaho country, Harrison. They routed out most of the settlers.
They sure got a way acting like they own the place, don't they? Running off white men.
They were here first. I guess they got a funny idea that makes it their land.
If we'd have had the whole company back there, we'd have run through them, sure. Showed them whose land it is.
Well, it would take an awful good company. Those were dog soldiers leading that raid.
Dog soldiers?
Toughest fighters in the tribes. Hand-picked for their daring. Hote Mintanio.
How's that, sir?
That's the Cheyenne name for dog soldiers. But most Plains Indians have a select band like them. Sioux and the Arapaho.
Oh. Guess we were smart to take cover in that canyon, Captain.
Yeah, I guess we were. In through the trees, Harrison. Good grass there by that stream.
I'll be right there to lend a hand, sir.
Stand to steady me as I come over on this leg, Harrison. It won't bear weight.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Oh.
Guess I'm weaker than I thought.
Now, don't you worry, Captain. I got bull strength. Here, let me help you. Now, you just sit back against this tree. There. How's that, sir?
All right, Harrison. Thanks.
I'll get you some fresh water. You going all white.
No, I'm all right. I'll ease those cinches and lead the mounts down to the stream and water them. Go on. I just need to catch my breath. Rest a bit.
I sure wish I could make you right comfortable, sir. In bed with food and all.
I know. Mind the horses.
Yes, sir.
Harrison. Harrison!
You awake, sir?
I shouldn't have gone to sleep.
You just didn't have no choice, Captain. Once you drank that cool water, you was plumb through.
What's that? Horses?
No, they're not making a sound, sir. I hobbled them before I set out.
Wait a minute. There's horses, all right. Sounds like they're riding this way.
I sure don't hear a thing. Could be you got some fever, Captain Quince. Some folks hear things when they got fever.
You keep listening, you'll hear them.
Yes, sir. Well, what I was going to say was, while you was resting so easy like, I set out and took a look around. There's a cabin, sir, not more than a couple of 100 yards away.
They're coming from the north.
Yeah, I can hear them now. Could be cavalry, Captain. They move south long ahead of us.
Not cavalry. Look through the trees.
Indians.
Dog soldiers.
Captain, we better make for that cabin.
No, we're better off here. Trees will hide us. Unless they already know we're here. Lie flat, Harrison. If they start through the trees, fire.
Can you handle that carbine, sir?
Yeah, I can.
They're making for us, sir. Sure seeing them.
Wait them out.
They're right at the tree, Captain.
Easy.
I'm sure not keen on them seeing me first.
Shut up, Harrison. They're riding right along the tree line. Going on south.
I can't make them out anymore. You see them?
Now, they've gone on past the thicket. I can't see them.
Man, that was closer.
Still close. They stopped.
You want I should get our horses, sir?
I do not. Can you hear them?
They ain't moving as I can tell. I counted 6, Captain.
6. That cabin, where is it?
Near as I can tell, that's where they are, sir. It's that direction, not more than a couple 100 yards away. Oh, I tell you, sir, that's a welcome sound.
You were talking about a deserted cabin, Harrison?
Not a living thing around. Likely been that way for years.
You'll have to near carry me. I can't mount again.
Just you don't worry yourself, Captain. I'll take right good care of you. Not 10 more steps. You can make it, sir.
I don't know, Harrison.
You just lean heavy now. We'll get there. You'll make out fine.
You come no closer.
Well, ma'am, there's no cause for shooting. We're your kind, white folks.
I'll judge about the shooting. What ails him?
He's all shot up and weak. Ma'am, I'm not even asking for a hand, but I gotta put him down inside.
Army?
2nd Cavalry, Fort Laramie.
Harrison, I think I...
Captain Quince! Captain, you all right, sir?
Is he dead?
No, ma'am, not yet. Would you just try to help? Put that shotgun down and help a body?
How are you on food?
Oh, 10 of jerky, maybe.
Blankets? Shot? You got anything?
I got an awful sick captain here, ma'am. That's what I got. And I'm lifting him up right now and taking him in there.
How much money you got?
I don't know. A little.
Hand it over.
Once we inside...
I tell you, son, I'd as soon shoot the both of you as jaw this way. I want your money and your guns.
I don't rightly know how you stand yourself.
His money, too.
I'm bringing him inside now.
Not for long. For this little bit of money.
Open this door for me.
You're another weak one, are you?
My arm's full of logs.
Put 'em by the stove and quit your whimpering. Soft bellies, the lot of you.
How is he?
Ask him. He's only pretending to sleep.
Captain?
You can't fool her, Harrison. Don't try.
Oh, you gave me a fright, sir. I wasn't sure you was going to come around.
I'll be all right.
She get the bullet?
Yeah. Yeah, she got it.
I see new cubs are tougher hide.
Captain, she took everything we had. Jerky, guns, money. What kind of white woman is she?
You'd best quiet him. I buried 4 husbands, 20 children. A couple of strangers don't faze me.
Better get some sleep, Harrison. She says you watched me all night.
You sure you're all right?
I'm fine. Now go to sleep. That's an order.
Yes, sir.
Four husbands, ma'am?
Outlived 'em. But they was men, regular men. Didn't go around sirring every other man and mamming women folk.
Yeah, they weren't in the army.
Indeed they wasn't. No call for the army in those days. Mr. Pelfrey and me lived as peaceable as could be with the Indian folk. We come here peaceable, me and Mr. Pelfrey.
When was that?
In the 30s.
Things are different then.
No different than with Mr. Griffith, Mr. Albright, even later on with Mr. Netherton. Yeah, there was lessons to learn in the West in them days. Eat the porridge.
Much obliged, ma'am.
Hattie.
How's that?
Hattie, I say. Hattie Pelfrey. I go by that. I can't abide being called ma'am.
Oh.
I lean toward Hattie.
Hattie, you live alone, middle of Arapaho country. How do you manage?
I come by your guns. Such little money you had. Sometimes it's food, sometimes robes. I'll take what I can get. No matter to me if it's settlers or scouts or army folks.
Or Arapaho?
Folks don't find Hattie less'n they lost, or half dead. It'd open your eyes to see what they part with.
You always greet 'em with a shotgun.
If need be.
Before we came here last evening, a band of Arapaho braves stopped here.
I got good arrows, strong bows, rifles. Even a couple of buffalo guns off a hunter broke his leg down the canyon.
They got a camp near here, the Arapaho?
You got something more to give me?
Oh, Harrison said you cleaned us out.
You're getting full measure.
What's going on? My ring. Hey, you can't have that.
But I got it. Well, I ain't had a pretty first spell, and that's a fact.
A man ain't safe sleeping here. I bought that ring myself in St. Louis.
Oh, it'll fit fine once I wrap some twine around it. Body's fingers thin with age.
Next you'll be picking my bones, you old buzzard. Mind your tongue!
Give him his ring back, Hattie.
Not likely.
Captain Quince, what says you can't hit an old woman when she's so contrary?
Oh, for one thing, she's got a shotgun.
I'd soon use it as jaw with you.
You take his ring, you give us something, Hattie.
I do admire a pretty. Clean forgot the bright feeling they give you.
Our guns for the ring, Hattie, that's fair.
I come by your horses down the creek this morning. They're grazing on my grass, swilling my water. The pretty's to pay for that.
Captain, I better see to them mounts.
You'll stay with the sick and ailing. I'll see to the horses.
You saying he can't leave the cabin?
Not alive, he can't.
Why, you...
She means it, Harrison.
I do that. Now, I've got tending to do. Outside. No need peering around for your rifles whilst I'm gone. You won't find them.
Captain Quince, we gotta move out of here.
Well, we need horses to do it. Here. You steady me.
You ain't fit to stand yet, sir.
Just you stand still. Yeah. We'd have to crawl once we're outside anyway. I can manage to the door.
Like as not, she's just crouched out there waiting for us.
It's worth a chance. We may not get another.
Yes, sir.
Get the door. Get on your belly. Move small through this brush. Toward the stream. Can you see her?
No, sir.
Stream, how far is it?
A good 50 yards. Maybe more.
I don't see the horses.
Not yet, sir.
Flatten, Harrison. It's Arapaho.
She come out of those trees by the water, sir. She's talking to them Indians.
Don't even breathe. She's going back toward the trees.
Yeah. But there ain't a sign of our horses, sir.
No sense trying to go it without them. We'll have to go back.
To the cabin?
Without guns or horses, we're no good out here, Harrison. Come on.
What you reckon she's done with them, Captain?
That woman, she might have eaten them.
I'll steady you for the walk, sir.
I'd give a lot for some of her strength right now.
You think I could find them alone?
Get yourself killed doing it? It's no good, Harrison. We'll have to wait.
You're just about as foolish as can be, ain't you? Crawling around in the brush out there. What's ID?
Fresh air, Hattie.
Got no guns, no food. There's Arapaho all around. You don't think too good of your hides, do you?
Where are the horses, Hattie?
Your color's coming back some.
You heard the captain. What about the horses?
They come right high in these parts, youngin'. Yeah, I could get me a passel of things. Trading horses.
You're real friendly with the Arapaho, Hattie.
They treat me good. Of course, they know Mr. Pelfrey and me come peaceable to their country. Not to run 'em off what rightly is their land.
You never seen 'em at the killing? White women, babies, no matter to them.
You ever ask yourself who started it all? I seen it happen. The whites and their guns moving in. Wasn't pretty work they did. Women and children, too.
They let you live here. It's got to be a reason.
He come here like you, full of shot, ailing. White men's doing. Mr. Pelfrey and me, we took him in, tended him. He was a young chief then. But Standing Bear never forgot. Not in all these years. He's as near to a relation I got.
You're from another age, Hattie. You and Standing Bear.
You got anyone? A wife?
No wife.
Mother, then?
I got her memory. Pair of her earrings, that's all.
Not on you. I'd have found 'em.
They're back at Fort Laramie.
Oh, that's a pity. Yeah, that's a pity.
Think you can get the guns without waking her?
I can't make out good with no light, but I can fight an old woman in the dark.
Not long till sunup. This may be our last chance. Easy now.
Now, that's just close enough. Stealing up on an old woman. What kind of men are you? I don't mind shooting. A bit.
You're a witch. That's what you are. Seeing in the dark, hearing. You no kind of woman at all.
Maybe not now, young'un. But I was once. More woman than you could imagine.
Now shut up, both of you. Someone's coming.
Come earlier than I said.
It's probably them same engines again, Captain.
Yeah.
Now get. Back where you belong. Over there, to your beds. Welcome.
Captain, I had my gun, I'd blow us all up before I'd let them take us.
I know. Maybe I'd help you.
She's out there right now, trading for us. You know that.
Get ready. Someone's coming.
Now, that side of beef will last me the winter and more. Gift for my friend, Standing Bear.
For us, Hattie?
Now then, you're worth a sight more than that.
They're riding off, Captain.
You sparing us, Hattie? For what?
Sparing you?
You didn't tell them about us.
They didn't ask.
You acting human so sudden-like. After near scaring us to death.
I ain't gonna miss this, young'un, that's a fact. I'd soon keep company with a bawling calf. I tell you, I'm bone brittle with you two around.
Well, we'd be glad to get out of your way. Trade for guns, our horses, and a cut of your new beef.
Been thinking about them ear bobs.
I've been thinking about our guns.
Under my bed. There's 2 horses saddled at the spring. Now, them ear bobs.
They're back at Fort Laramie, Hattie. You mean to ride back with us?
I gotta watch who I'm seen with.
Yeah. Well, I might get back your way someday. If I do, I'll bring 'em to you.
For these old ears? Yeah, here, young'un. Pretties ain't for me, not no more.
I'll take my ring, ma'am. And thank you. But I ain't even pretending to understand you.
If you was regular men, you'd find yourself a woman. Pretties don't belong on a man's hand, locked up at no fort. Now, us women folk, it gives us that bright feeling, having a pretty.
Fort Laramie is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald and stars Raymond Burr as Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry, with Vic Perrin as Sergeant Gorse. The script was specially written for Fort Laramie by Kathleen Height, with sound patterns by Bill James and Ray Kemper, musical supervision by Amerigo Marino. Featured in the cast were Virginia Gregg, Sam Edwards, and John Daner.
Company, tension! Dismiss.
Next week, another transcribed story of the Northwest frontier and the troopers who fought under Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry. Anyone who has ever been helped by the Red Cross can tell you how important help is when the need arises. And everyone who is a member of the American Red Cross can tell you how much deep satisfaction comes with knowing you have helped provide aid in an emergency. Make your investment in humanitarianism soon. CBS Radio urges you to join and serve your local Red Cross chapter. Your membership and your contributions make all Americans neighbors in a time of need.
At the gallop! Ho!
Fort Laramie. Fort Laramie, starring Raymond Burr as Captain Lee Quince. Specially transcribed tales of the dark and tragic ground of the wild frontier, the saga of fighting men who rode the rim of empire, and the dramatic story of Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry.
You alive, Harrison?
No, sir, he ain't.
Move him back with the others.
In the name of heaven, Captain, how could he be alive? Look at him.
Move him back, Harrison. Lieutenant Syberts is directing the grave detail. Now give him a hand.
We gonna bury them all?
It's the least we can do.
I can't do it, Captain Quince. I can't. I'm all hot and cold in my belly. I just can't look at any more of this.
You get a firm grip on that belly of yours, Harrison. This kind of cleanup's got to be done. Now, don't look, don't think, just do your work.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'll do that.
I'm on my fifth, Captain.
All right, Hook.
Two was old ladies. I figured they was too old for travel anyways.
See, those graves are cairned.
The lieutenant's seeing to that, Captain. All I gotta do is dig 'em. Count 12 wagons burning. Them engines don't leave nothing to chance.
No, not much.
They shoot 'em full of arrows, full of lead, then hack 'em up. For good measure, they set fire to 'em.
Better get back to work, Hook.
You're a sight safer in the army than in one of them wagon trains, ain't you, Captain?
Sometimes, Hook. Sometimes.
Captain Quinns.
Yeah?
Maybe you ought to speak to the lieutenant.
How's that?
He's fair carried away with all this burying stuff. I declare he'll be laying the dead stock to rest next, so as he can speak words over them.
That all, Hook?
But you ought to take a look, Captain. I think it's real touching.
Thinking's not any part of you, Hook, any more than feeling is. I don't want to see that spade of yours stop the next 2 hours.
Yes, sir.
Captain Quinn, over here.
This one's still alive.
He conscious?
I just come on him. I heard him.
Mister?
Sioux. Hundreds of Sioux.
Must have raided from the south, Hazen. If it was so.
I gave the major that report. They've been building up to something for months now.
Mister, how many people in your train, mister? We counted 12 wagons.
We had 52. 52. And they took...
Only 50 bodies, Captain. Lieutenant Cybers and I just took count.
You sure, Hazen?
No.
Yes, sir. 49 dead in this one.
No. Beasley. It took the Beasley girls. It took...
Make that 50 dead, Hazen.
Yeah. You going after him?
With 20 men? No, we'll be another couple of hours here, and it'll still take us 3 more to get back to the fort.
Them girls, that's... Well, dying's easier,
You telling me something I don't know, Hazen? Yeah, I'll go after him when I stand a chance of getting him. Meantime, you pick up the trail.
Yes, sir. I ought to come on the Sioux camp before night. If I do, I'll make it back to the fort by daylight.
I'm going after him at sunup, whether you're back or not.
Suppose you had the company with you, then what?
We'd have finished our burying a little earlier, Major.
That's all?
That's all.
Captain, I have to make a report to Washington. I'd like to make it look as if the Army meant something out here. So far, I can tell him that a patrol of 20 men arrived in time to bury the members of an entire wagon train.
Would it make your report read any better if you told him a whole company arrived in time to bury him, Major?
I'm not interested in your impertinence, Captain.
I'm not interested in your report, sir.
All right. Look, I know you don't think much of paperwork, Lee. Reports to Washington, all this. But the point is, it all has to be done, whether you like it or not.
My point is, we'd have been just as late with 80 men as we were with 20. You'd still have to report 50 dead and 2 missing.
I don't like to think about those young women.
Somebody better think about them.
You've seen what... you know the savagery they're bound to endure. How soon can you leave, Captain?
At dawn, whether Hazen's back or not.
You sent him on ahead?
He's been scouting the Sioux territory for the last few months. If they've gone back south, we'll find them.
I suppose you'll want the company this time.
I'd want more than one company if I intended to go after him.
There's only one company available, Captain.
Major, I'd like to bargain with them.
Bargain? After a massacre like this?
Yes, sir. If we don't have the men to fight it out with them.
What kind of bargain?
Big elk. Big elk for the young women.
I don't know. He wasn't easily captured, Quince.
I know. I brought him in.
Well, he's not doing us much good lying around the stockade. I suppose the Sioux consider him valuable enough to trade for him.
He's a chief.
What if Hazen isn't back by morning? If If you expect to find those young women alive, you can't wait much longer.
We may pick Hazen up on the trail, but Big Elk can lead us to the camp.
Yeah, but Willie.
To get out of the stockade? Yeah, he'll lead us. He'll understand he's not free till he does.
You better talk to him, Quince. Report back to me tonight.
I'd like to leave at sunup, sir.
If we're satisfied that Big Elk's our best chance, you'll pass the head of your column through the main gates half an hour before reveille tomorrow morning.
Right, sir.
No good, you'll try to kill me, no. Leave him be, Hook. He's nothing to you.
I just give him a drink. He asked for one, didn't he? Some firewater, huh?
No good one.
You men be better off in your bunks.
Try kill me. I will. I get the chance.
Something on your mind, Hook?
He's just tormenting him, Captain. Big Elk asked for a drink. Hook here gave him some bilge water. But it wouldn't have killed him.
He just made him good and sick like he makes me.
You're to leave him alone, Hook.
Hey, let them white women alone, Captain. Not one of them Injuns is leaving them be.
You're all hard, aren't you, Hook? Now get back to your quarters, all of you. We're going after the women before reveille.
That too ain't sounded yet, Captain.
What did you say, Trooper?
Nothing, sir. Come on.
Here you are. Here, you can drink this, Big Elk.
White man, no friend. Try kill me.
I could have killed you 2 months ago. I brought you here instead. Now go on, drink it. It's from my own canteen.
Good water. Good water. Put out fire in belly.
Your people still hold big camp on Lodgepole Creek?
Big Elk no see people many moon. For brother white man only. White man no brother Big Elk.
The hunting's still good along Lodgepole. Good grass, good water. Why would they move camp?
Not know.
If we let you go, Big Elk, you could find your people.
Big Elk, big coup for white man. White man no let Big Elk go.
Well, if you couldn't find your way back, no sense talking to you.
Hey, wait.
Why? You don't know where your people are.
Why you let Big Elk go?
A fair trade. You lead us to the Sioux camp. We'll trade you to your tribe for the white women they have.
No trade.
Your people don't think much of you, do they?
Big Elk hold high honor in tribe. Old Sioux proud, warrior, hunter, leader, Big Elk.
Then why won't they trade?
White man no trade Big Elk for white woman.
That's just where you're wrong. White men go pretty high on their women folk.
Captain, you play trick?
No trick. You have my word.
No trick. Then Big Elk give word. We'll lead to Sioux camp.
You still put a lot of store in that captain of yours, Harrison? You still think he knows all there is that's right?
Captain Quince knows what he's about. You'll see he does.
Kind of gnaws at your innards, though, don't it? Him plain eating out of that Injun's hand.
You're just trying to rile me, Hook. And I ain't giving you the satisfaction.
Look at him, Harrison. The Injun pokes his head to the right, we move to the right. Same with the left.
He'd poke his head straight up, your old Captain Quince. He'd have us climb in the air.
You'd best keep your face shut, Hook. I swear you keep with me, no telling what I'll do.
You'll do like you're told. No more. That captain would tell you to do anything at all. You'd bust yourself doing it. You're gonna grow up licking boots all the way?
I ain't snapping at your bait no more. You can talk all you like, I just ain't listening. I'm just riding along here, and I don't even know no dumb trooper named Hook.
Ain't just me talking, bootlicker. It don't set well with a single white man riding in this column being led around by no Injun. You giving any thought to them white women, Harrison? You ever seen one once a bunch of Injuns got through with her?
Well, we're doing a decent thing, ain't we? We're going after him.
No, we ain't. We're just out riding around, Harrison. Following an Injun wherever he means to take us. Like as not, he's leading us into an ambush right this minute.
I ain't listening to you again, Hook. Ain't hearing a word you say.
I tell you one thing, bootlicker. That's a dead Injun up there. He don't know it yet, but he's just as dead as he can be.
Halt! Men, we're about an hour from Bear Creek. There's still daylight enough to see us there. We'll bivouac there for the night.
Ryder coming this way, sir.
I know, Syberts. I think it's Hazen, with word on the Sioux camp.
Not meaning to make a camp here, are you, Captain?
Oh, we're heading to Bear Creek for the night.
That's more like it. With water there, grass, natural camp. You just a day out of Fort Laramie?
Left the post just at sunup.
Made good time.
Well, Big Elk's picking the trail.
Good job. We're right on the line of the Sioux camp. You leave Bear Creek at sunup, you'll make it to Lodgepole Creek by mid-morning.
Fair enough.
You got reinforcements coming?
I'm riding in under a white flag. I plan to trade Big Elk for the white women.
Oh, might work. I got in awful close. Don't even think they got scouts out. Leastwise, I didn't see any.
Any sign of the women?
Not likely there would be. No, Captain, the Sioux were looking awful peaceful. For your sakes, I hope they are.
You sent for me, sir?
Yeah, sit down, Mr. Syberts.
Thank you, sir.
What's the talk among the men?
You know the men, Captain. Just camp talk.
Just camp talk?
That's all, sir.
Well, that's good. I had an idea maybe feeling was running a little high against Big Elk.
Well, it is. You know, the men feeling the way they do about the Sioux capturing the white women, they're taking on with him a little.
What do you mean?
Well, joshing him, making threats, little things. Well, for example, he's half starving, I guess, and thirsty, of course.
So?
Well, they keep putting food and water just out of his reach.
And you stood there and let it happen, Mr. Syberts?
Well, sir...
Just camp talk, Mr. Syberts.
It's more my fault, Captain. You can't blame the men.
I can blame the men, and I can blame you. I gave my word.
Look out! He broke free! Picket! The engine's loose!
Hold your fire! Don't shoot, any of you! Hold your fire!
Watch it, Captain. He's coming your way.
All right.
I go. White man, they try to kill me.
Now, nobody's going to kill you. Now, listen to me. I won't let anyone harm you.
Your word no mean much. White man, no honor.
Quiet! Quiet, all of you! Quiet! Now, listen to me. And understand me. I don't know what's behind all this, but for your sakes, I'm going to put it down to your feeling for the captured white women. All right, quiet! We'll lay it to that for now. But I'm not forgetting what happened here. Now use your heads. Big Elk's our best chance to get those women out of the Sioux camp safely. Maybe our only chance. I gave him my word there'd be no tricks. The stockade's waiting for the next man who abuses him. Any questions? Harrison?
Yes, sir?
See that there's water and warm food for Big Elk.
Right away, sir.
Now, any of you get any ideas, I'll be waiting for you. That's all. Dismissed. All right, Big Elk.
Captain Quince. I'm sorry, sir. I should have stopped all that.
Any man could have stopped it, Mr. Syberts.
But being an officer and all, I should have.
The Army saw fit to make you an officer, Mr. Syberts. Being a man's entirely up to you.
I just didn't...
That's all, Mr. Syberts.
Now, camp of my people in valley below. Big Elk, keep word.
Big Elk, if I had a home like that, I'd never leave it.
Red men first here. Then white men come. With gun.
Yeah, I know. I'll take the flag, Mr. Syberts. You have your orders?
Yes, sir.
We'll ride in under your cover. There's to be no firing unless there's trouble. If I drop the white flag, that'll be your signal to open fire. Any questions?
No, sir.
Then pass the word. Big Elk and I are riding in.
Good luck, Captain.
You lead, Big Elk. No sign of your scouts yet.
My people expect no trouble.
There'll be no trouble.
Big Elk turned back on white men. Not safe. No trust.
I've kept my word, Big Elk. The rest is up to your chiefs.
No. Big Elk knows fear.
Oh, you're safe with me.
No. Big Elk no trust. His strength.
You crazy fool! Stop it! Stop! Stupid, murdering swine. Move out! Move out to save your filthy hides!
It was Hook shot him, sir, before anyone could stop him.
He'll rot in the stockade for this. Stand a horse! Stand a horse! Lieutenant Syberts, move the company back immediately.
I know how you feel, Captain, but it's done. The man will be dealt with fully.
Major, it was the coldest kind of murder.
You're lucky you get out of there alive, especially you. Right now, I'm thinking about those white women.
I don't think there's a chance they're alive now. The Sioux will take this out on somebody, and they're handiest.
We can't think about that. We're going after those women this time with every man in our command.
With at least 1,000 Sioux at Lodgepole Creek?
We'll do our best, Captain.
If Gorse had been with me, I'd have seen the sense.
Sergeant Gorse was accompanying the first wagon train through.
I know that. It's my own stupidity.
Stupidity? Surely you're not blaming yourself.
For taking Hook on that patrol, you bet I am. I'm long enough in the Army to spot a troublemaker.
You're not thinking straight, Lee. I count on your judgment because it's cool and straight. You're no good to me in this turn of mine.
Major, my guts are crawling now. What do you want?
I want an officer with head enough to command Company B to engage the Sioux.
All right, sir. You got one. I'm all right.
Captain Matheson moved into the post yesterday with C Company. With Meade's infantry and howitzers, we should give you the cover you need.
I'm not used to this much support, Major. Might get lost in that crowd.
Your job is to get those women and get out. After your initial charge, the main fighting's up to C Company and the infantry.
Yes, sir. Get the women, bring them here.
And you'll stand by as reinforcements for Mathewson and Meade.
Right.
Yes?
Major?
Come in.
Captain?
Hazen?
We're going to need your help, Hazen.
Well, there's a chance you can surprise him. They're on the move.
Which way?
North and to the west. Where's your map?
Right here.
Yeah. This was their main camp at Lodgepole.
Uh-huh.
Now, they moved along the valley where you were, Captain, along the stream and then up to Horse Creek there. Then branched up to Bear Creek near Iron Mountain right there.
We bivouacked there.
You were a little to the east, but no matter. They moved across the Chugwater along here, see? And followed along the Laramie Range there.
A whole lodgepole camp on the move?
All of them. But this is where I think you can get them. If it's still the Beasley girls you're after.
They're our first objective.
All right. The warriors, the main force of the tribe, they're well up front, moving ahead. They're not expecting any trouble from the rear. And so that's where they got their squaws and old folks and young'uns.
Yeah, likely the Beasley women are back there with them.
It's a near cinch.
Where are they now, in your judgment?
The natural camp spot's about there, on the Laramie River. Moving slow like they got to along that range, they should make camp there tonight. If it was me, I wouldn't wait for sunup to move in.
He's right, Major.
Can you have B Company ready to move out by dusk?
I can.
Pass the word, Captain. Report back in half an hour. Mathewson and Meade will be here. We'll lay out a full plan.
Right, sir. Mr. Syberts?
Right here, Captain.
Men filed out in position?
Yes, sir. As ordered.
Harrison, move up.
Yes, sir.
Harrison, you'll flank me on the charge. We're going to bring those women out, you understand?
I sure do, sir.
Good.
Proud to.
Company!
Company!
At the trot!
Ho!
We surprised them, Captain.
They're running for cover, sir.
We stampeded their horses. They gotta take cover.
Meade's infantry. We're covered, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Syberts. Keep at 'em. Harrison, over here, this way. The lodges, over here.
There's a squaw, Captain.
I'll get her.
No kill squaw.
The white women, where are they?
No white woman. No kill squaw.
Now, where are they?
Lodge. There. All safe. No kill.
This way, Harrison. Well, for... Harrison!
Captain Quince. It's them women. Them Beasley girls. Why, they can't be over 5, 6 years old. Either one of them.
I know. Come on, Harrison. Let's get these women out of here.
Fort Laramie is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald and stars Raymond Burr as Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry. The script was specially written for Fort Laramie by Kathleen Height, with sound patterns by Bill James and Ray Kemper, musical supervision by Amerigo Marino. Featured in the cast were Jack Moyles, Harry Bartell, Sam Edwards, Lawrence Dobkin, Lou Krugman, James Nusser, and Lillian Bayeff.
Company, tension! Dismiss.
Next week, another transcribed story of the Northwest frontier and the troopers who fought under Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry. The groups which you support through Easter Seals duplicate the work of no other groups, yet there are more than 1,600 of them. These Easter Seal societies serve the many unmet needs of the crippled. This year, the national goal is $12 million. If your family has received a quota of seals in the mail, send your money in the return envelopes which came with the seals. Or if you wish to contribute directly, send your money to Crippled Children, care of your local post office. This has been a public service message from CBS Radio.
At the gallop! Ho!
Fort Laramie. Fort Laramie, starring Raymond Burr as Captain Lee Quince. Specially transcribed tales of the dark and tragic ground of the wild frontier, the saga of fighting men who rode the rim of empire, and the dramatic story of Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry.
Patrol! Halt! Sergeant Gorse, dismiss the patrol.
Yes, sir. Prepare to dismount. Dismount.
Welcome back, Captain.
Thank you, Sergeant Jenkins. Major Daggett in?
He's been expecting you.
Come in. Oh, Lee. Glad you're back.
That makes both of us, Major.
Oh, you find anything?
No trouble. Some of the dog soldiers are restless, but so far, no Sioux have left treaty territory.
Oh, that's good.
Yep. Except I've had a 10-day ride for nothing.
Well, it's no matter. We have to investigate every report. You know that.
I know.
Well, like I said, I'm glad you're back. But I'm not sure you'll be.
Why?
You're in time to welcome an old friend of yours.
Oh? Who?
His orders read Lieutenant R.C. Went.
Robbie?
That's right. Major Went.
He assigned here?
He's on the post already. Arrived an hour ago. He'll be reporting any minute. Want to stay and see him?
You want me to?
It's up to you. You'll have to face him sooner or later anyway, I suppose.
Major, he's an old friend. Nothing can change that.
You still feel that way?
Yep. Where will he be assigned?
C Company is short an officer.
Can I have him? You can transfer Hancock to C.
Why?
Maybe I can ease things a little.
What about yourself? You think he'll like serving under you? An officer who once served under him?
He'll do all right. He was a good officer.
Well, I can't say much for him now. 5 posts in 2 years, and he couldn't face it out at any of them. Now we're stuck with him. A drunkard, a troublemaker, and a coward. Coward of Antelope Meadows.
I'm not sure he deserves that reputation.
Court of inquiry that demoted him thought so.
They demoted him for poor judgment, not cowardice.
What would you call a man who ran away from a fight, left his commander and 200 men to be wiped out?
He was under attack himself.
He could have fought through to Bartlett and saved them.
Maybe, and maybe not. He might only have added 100 more men to the list of dead. Instead, he tried to save his own command, and he succeeded. It was a difficult decision, but not necessarily bad judgment.
The Court of Inquiry said so.
The Court of Inquiry was in Washington. They went by the book. You know how different it can be out here, how hard a decision can be when you're under attack. Hindsight's always easy.
Why are we arguing?
Assign him to me.
All right. Be a good Samaritan if you have to. There he is. Come in.
Lieutenant Went reporting to Major Daggett as directed.
Yes, been expecting you, Went. I believe you know Captain Quince.
Hello, Robbie.
Captain?
It's been a long time since Virginia.
Yes. Sorry I didn't see you. I've developed a habit of speaking when I'm spoken to.
You're looking well.
Major, have you figured out a place for me?
I didn't try to figure a place for you, Went. You're just another officer here. You'll be put where you're needed. I've assigned you to B Company. That's Captain Quince here.
Very well.
You can report to the officer of the day at your convenience. You'll be placed on active duty as of 5 a.m. tomorrow. You'll take morning call.
Yes, sir.
We hope you'll have a pleasant tour at Laramie.
Do you, Major?
Went, I said you're just another officer here. That's the way you'll be treated. But I expect a cooperative attitude from you, like any other officer. A chip on that shoulder won't help.
Very good, Major. Am I dismissed?
Yes.
I'll come along if I may, Robbie. Show you the place.
All right, Captain.
Oh, Lee.
Yes, sir?
One moment,
I'll be right with you, Robbie.
All right.
You see what I mean? Liquored up, middle of the day. He's going to be trouble.
He's gone through a lot, Major.
Sometimes I think you're a soft fool. I'm warning you, Lee. Don't try to fight his battles for him. Keep a tight hold on him.
Don't worry. I'll take you over by the quarters, Robbie. They're a little better than the ones we had in Virginia. You might like Laramie. It's a good post.
I've noticed a lot of women. More than I expected out here.
A lot of the men are married. It's safe enough here. It's good to see you, Robbie.
It is?
We had some good days in Virginia.
I was your commanding officer then.
You were a good one.
Now...
Robbie, there are plenty of gray-haired lieutenants in this army for one reason or another. But not many of them cry in their beer.
Thank you, Captain, for reminding me.
Oh, you've got to give people a chance.
What about them giving me a chance?
Oh, you got to meet them halfway, Robbie.
Halfway.
Good morning, Captain Quince.
Oh, hello, Miss St. Cloud. May I present Lieutenant Went?
We don't need an introduction, Captain. Hello, Robbie.
Mrs. St. Cloud?
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
I saw you earlier crossing the parade ground. What brings you to Laramie?
I'm to be stationed here.
I'm very glad.
Are you?
Of course. Captain, Robbie and I are old friends. You must come and visit me the first chance you get, Robbie.
Thank you.
Oh, here's Philip. You never met my husband, did you? Philip, this is Robbie Went.
Lieutenant St. Cloud.
How do you do?
He's to be stationed here.
That's too bad.
Philip.
You remember Lieutenant Yeager, don't you, Went? He was my best friend, my roommate at the Point. I'm sure you must remember him because he died with Bartlett that day at Antelope Meadows.
Philip, don't.
Come along, Maud.
But, Philip...
What were you saying about a chance, Captain?
I'm sorry, Robbie. There's bound to be some feeling at first, but in time...
You're an optimist, Captain. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll stop by the Sutlers. They can still sell liquor on this post, can't they?
You think that'll help?
It's the only help I need, Captain. Good day.
First platoon, all present and accounted for. Second platoon, all present and accounted for.
All prisoner accounted for, sir.
Yeah. Now, where are the orders?
In your pockets, sir.
In my...
Lieutenant, is anything wrong?
What do you mean, Sergeant?
I mean, are you all right? Are you feeling all right?
Of course I am. Now, where is it?
Here, sir. Shall I read them?
You?
Captain Quince sometimes has me read them, sir. I just thought...
You stop thinking, Sergeant.
Lieutenant...
I'm perfectly capable...
Morning, Lieutenant Went. Sergeant Gorse.
Sir?
What are you doing here, Quince? Don't you think I can take morning call by myself?
Of course, Lieutenant.
I'm perfectly all right. Absolutely all right.
I'm not so sure. I think you'd better go back to your quarters. I'll relieve you here.
Is that an order, Captain?
That's a suggestion.
All right.
Straighten up, man. You're in front of 100 enlisted men.
Yeah, that'll be all right.
I'll go with you.
I can...
It's a long walk across the parade ground. The men are watching. Just keep your shoulder into mine. Sergeant, you'll read the orders of the day.
Yes, sir.
Come on, Robbie. Here, keep this cold compress in your head.
Thanks.
Robbie, this is no good. You can't keep this up.
What?
Running away, hiding in a bottle.
You gonna report me?
Did you report me that time in Virginia? But it can't happen too often, you understand that?
I know.
Well...
Lee, thanks. You're the only one in 2 years that's been decent. I'm sorry if I can't come halfway.
Maybe if you'd try to face it and not run away. Other men have been busted.
Oh, it's not that. No. Do you know what my second-in-command said after Antelope Meadows? He said, we should all be dead. And we would have been if we hadn't been led by a coward.
You weren't a coward in Virginia, and when that court of inquiry demoted you, you didn't have to stay in the Army. You could have resigned.
Yes?
It took guts to stay. That wasn't the act of a coward.
I love the Army. It's my life. And I was mad. I thought I was right. I had the guts then.
Then what's happened?
Do you know what it's like to be sneered at? Hated wherever you go? To be blamed for other men's deaths? Like that St. Cloud yesterday. I've had 2 years of that, Lee. Maybe now I am a coward.
Not unless you're willing to be. If you... Come in. Oh, Miss St. Cloud.
Robbie, I heard you were ill.
Word gets around, doesn't it?
Are you all right?
All right.
You'll be fine, ma'am.
Is there anything I can do for you, Robbie?
No. Thanks.
Well, I'll stop in again this afternoon.
I am not so sure your husband would approve, Mrs. St. Cloud.
Robbie, if you won't or can't come to visit me, I'll come to visit you. Good day, Captain.
Ma'am? It seems you do have friends, Lieutenant.
You, Maud.
Well...
Lee. Was I wrong?
About what?
Antelope Meadows.
I don't know.
It tortures me, Lee.
You did what you thought was right. Now, right or wrong, you better forget it.
How can a man forget a thing like that?
I don't know, Robbie.
Just a small detachment to patrol the line. We've had no further reports, but I want to keep watch. What about Syberts and 8 men, Lee?
Why not Went?
What's the matter? Want to get him away from the post?
No, it's not that. It might be what he needs.
I'm not sure I trust him with the patrol. You think you fooled me with that relieved of duty because of illness? He's just about drunk the sutlers dry.
He's getting better lately.
That's not what I hear. Maybe he's not drinking quite so much, but...
But what?
I've heard reports about him and Mrs. St. Cloud. They've been seeing each other entirely too much. She's been seen going into his quarters.
She tended him when he was ill.
And he's been at her rooms when St. Cloud was away.
They're old friends.
Maybe. But I always did think that woman was too pretty.
Major, I don't think there's anything wrong. But if there is, all the more reason to send Wendt out on that patrol.
You trust him?
He's a good officer. I'll send Gorse with him.
All right, Lee. I just hope you're right. Send Wendt to me for orders.
Right away, sir.
Captain. Captain.
What's the matter, Sergeant?
Over at Old Bedlam. There's going to be trouble.
What trouble?
The 2 lieutenants. St. Cloud's gone looking for Wendt.
Thanks. St. Cloud! Wendt! At ease! At ease! Now, what do you think you were doing? St. Cloud?
I heard what's been going on behind my back. It's all over the post. He can't get by fooling around with my wife. I'll
That's
kill him.
enough. That's a court-martial offense you're charging. You want to make it official?
I certainly...
And subject your wife to the embarrassment of it?
No.
All right.
No.
Wendt, you want to prefer charges against him?
No.
Then the 2 of you remember your officers in the U.S. Cavalry and act accordingly.
He better stay away from my wife.
You won't have to worry about that for a while. He's going out on patrol tonight. Now, get out of here, St. Cloud.
Lee.
I don't want to hear about it. It's none of my business.
But, Lee, there's
You got a job to do. As soon as you clean up, report to the major for your orders.
All right, Captain.
Captain?
Yes?
Captain, I
No
heard
harm done, Miss St. Cloud. Except to the dignity of a couple of officers.
It's my fault. I should have known Philip wouldn't understand. But I want you to understand, Captain.
Why me?
Because you're his friend, too.
All right.
I was only trying to help him. We're old friends, yes, but once it was more than that. Once, before I met Philip, it was going to be Robbie. I couldn't just stand by and see this happening to him.
I see.
Did I do wrong, Captain?
Who's to say that, Miss St. Cloud? I don't know.
I wish I were wiser.
So do I, ma'am. So do I.
Lee, this report just came in from the telegraph at Cheyenne.
Trouble, Major?
A Sioux raiding party attacked the railroad. If they're not still in the vicinity, they'll be heading north. Wendt's moving to intercept them. Yeah, he stopped at Pine Bluff and got the news. But he'll need reinforcements. Might be a big party, we don't know. Besides, with Wendt in charge...
I can have B Company ready in an hour.
Oh, will that be enough? B's undermanned. You've only got 63 men.
It'll be enough.
All right. Rendezvous with Wendt at the Forks on Little Bear Creek. And Lee, don't take any chances. Carry 200 rounds per man. This could be a fight.
Captain?
Single rider approaching.
Yeah, I see him. Looks like Gorse. Keep him going, Mr. Syberts. I'll swing out and meet him.
Yes, sir.
Sergeant?
Captain, Lieutenant Wentz sent me to intercept you. He's moving towards Horse Creek. Wants you to cut across and meet him.
All right, good.
Sure glad you're here, Captain.
Why?
Well, we had them cornered last night, but they got away. We could have taken them.
How many?
Around 30.
9 men against 30?
We could have surprised them. Men are kind of talking, son.
What are you trying to tell me, Gorse?
The lieutenant wouldn't attack. Or couldn't.
Had he been drinking?
Yes, sir.
Was he drunk, Sergeant?
Well, no, sir, I couldn't say that.
Then think about this, Sergeant. You men might not be alive today if he had attacked.
Yes, sir, I've heard that before.
It's still true, Sergeant. All right, let's join him.
There's their signal, Captain.
Here comes the lieutenant to meet us.
Company!
Company!
Hold! Lieutenant?
They're down in the valley about a mile ahead, Captain. You can surround them by splitting your force in 3.
Good. All right, Syberts, you take 20 men and the right flank.
Yes, sir.
Sergeant Gorse, you'll take 12 more men and join with Lieutenant Wentz patrol on the left flank.
Yes, sir.
The rest will stay with me in the center.
I'd like the center, Captain, if I may.
Why?
It's closer. It'll lead the attack. I found them.
All right, I'll take the left. Sergeant Jenkins, take over. I'll join you in a minute. Now, move out.
Right, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good work, Lieutenant. And you used good judgment. Not attacking last night.
Did I? Here, Captain, have a drink.
Yeah, thanks.
Why'd you do that?
You don't need it. You've gotten your courage out of a bottle for so long, you think you have to have it.
Don't I?
No, you don't, Robbie. All right, Lieutenant Went. Move out.
Doesn't look like we'll get much fighting, sir.
No, Jenkins, we're pretty far away, but we'll block this end of the valley for them.
Yes, sir. There they go, sir.
All right. Company!
Company!
At the trot!
At the trot!
Ho! Syberts!
We got them rounded up, Captain. Wasn't much of a fight. When they saw us coming in from 3 sides, they just dropped everything and ran.
Good. Any casualties?
No, sir, I don't think so. Not a one.
Captain!
Huh?
Over here.
Casualty, sir. Lieutenant Went.
Robbie?
Lee. I am sorry you smashed that bottle now.
Gorse.
Holder's bringing the first aid, sir.
No. No use, Lee. No use, you know that.
Robbie. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So am I. About a lot of things. Maud St. Cloud. A lot of things. But Lee, there's one thing I'm not sorry about.
Antelope meadows?
Yeah. I was right, Lee. I couldn't have saved Bartlett. But I could save my 100 men, and I didn't.
That's right.
Only one thing nobody understands. It wasn't my own life I was thinking about.
I understand that, Robbie.
Do you, Lee? Thanks. I wish...
Captain,
What is it, Sergeant?
I saw it, sir. He deliberately cut in front of Holder and took the only bullet the engines fired. He saved Holder's life. I guess I was wrong, sir.
Were you, Sergeant?
Yes, sir. He was no coward.
No. No, he wasn't. Come in. Oh. Miss St. Cloud.
Captain? I've just been over to see. I won't be attending the services.
I understand.
Captain.
Yes?
Captain, did he say anything about me?
Yes, he did, Miss St. Cloud. He said he was sorry.
Not half as sorry as I am, Captain. I wanted to help him. But I was afraid to say the one thing that might have helped him most.
Sometimes it's kind of hard to...
I wanted to tell him that he was the only man I ever really loved. But I was afraid of the consequences. I should have told him, Captain. I should have told him a long time ago. Well, Philip will be wondering where I am. Good day, Captain.
Good day, Miss St. Cloud.
Fort Laramie is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald and stars Raymond Burr as Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry, with Vic Perrin as Sergeant Gorse. The script was specially written for Fort Laramie by John Dunkel, with sound patterns by Bill James and Ray Kemper. Musical supervision by Amerigo Marino. Featured in the cast were John Daner, Jack Moyles, Harry Bartell, Lynn Allen, Paul Duboff, and Clayton Post.
Company, tension! Dismiss.
Next week, another transcribed story of the Northwest frontier and the troopers who fought under Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry. The news that makes headlines knows no time or place. News can be made next door or halfway around the world, at noon, at midnight, or in this next minute. To keep you fully informed, CBS News has reporters on 24-hour duty all around the world. By the magic of radio, their reports come to the CBS newsroom to be transmitted to you. Right now, every Saturday and Sunday, CBS News reports to you almost every hour during the day and evening. By keeping your dial set at CBS Radio, you know the news from halfway around the world as soon as you get the news from next door.
At the gallop! Ho!
Fort Laramie. Fort Laramie, starring Raymond Burr as Captain Lee Quince. Specially transcribed tales of the dark and tragic ground of the wild frontier, the saga of fighting men who rode the rim of empire, and the dramatic story of Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry.
Patrol! Halt! Sergeant Gorse.
Yes, sir.
Dismiss the patrol. I've got to report to Major Daggett.
Yes, sir.
And see that their horses are babied right this time.
Yes, sir. Roll. Prepare to dismount. Dismount.
Captain Quince reporting, sir. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I thought you'd be alone.
That's all right, Captain. Oh, this is Major Barlow.
Major?
My pleasure, Captain.
Well, how did your patrol fare?
Routine, sir. No sign of trouble.
Good. Oh, sit down, Quince.
Thank you, sir.
Major Barlow is here on orders from General Staff in Washington. He's surveying all the posts in our department.
I have only a few days here, and then I'm going on to Fort Dodge.
General Custer's command?
Yes. I'm looking forward to that. Read hundreds of reports, and certainly that 7th Cavalry is doing the best job with the hostiles that can be done.
You haven't surveyed them yet?
Well, not personally, no. The record reads victory after victory. I wish we could say the same about the 2nd.
Well, the circumstances are a little different, Major. They're waging open warfare from Fort Dodge. Here, we try to keep hostilities at a minimum, maintain peace. Captain, how much firefight have we seen in the last month?
Oh, 3 or 4 skirmishes is all, sir. Mostly with dog soldiers driven from the Fort Dodge section.
Dog soldiers?
There are 2 kinds of Cheyenne. That's the tribe we've been most interested in around here lately. Dog soldiers are the warriors. They wear 3 feathers.
Oh.
The ones that don't wear the feathers are the reservation peaceful kind. We don't bother either unless they make us.
Yeah. Well, Major, it's the belief of many members of the staff, including myself, that a soft policy such as yours is bound to lead to an uprising.
I hope you're wrong, sir.
Well, the hostiles see it as a sign of weakness. The only way to enforce peace with these savages is to maintain constant pressure, continual display of strength.
Will we get a directive to that effect, Major? Or is that a private opinion?
It's my opinion at the moment. I can assure you I'll do everything I can to see a directive based on it. Now, Captain, if you'll show me to your troop area.
Yes, sir.
Major Barlow will be attached to your troop during his stay. You'll place yourself at his disposal, do everything possible to assist him in making his survey.
It's an honor, sir.
First thing I want to do, Captain, is make a complete tour of the reservation camps. I want a first-hand look at the natives. Their condition, their attitudes, extent of their weapons, so on.
Camps are pretty well scattered, Major. It'll take some time to cover all of them.
These reservation people should be centralized so that they can be watched.
They've lived in small village bands for hundreds of generations. They kind of need stretching
They're
room.
prisoners of war, Captain. Prisoners of war live under imposed conditions, not their own.
Yes, sir.
Captain Quince?
Yes, Sergeant? At ease. What is it?
There's a man waiting for you in the orderly room, sir. Ben Coons.
What does he want?
He says his stepson was stole by the Cheyenne.
What's that?
We'll go in and find out. Thank you, Sergeant. I've just heard about your son, Coons. How'd it happen?
How do I know? My place is only 5 miles outside of town, and he was gone when I got home last night. Look at this.
Cheyenne scalping knife.
It was stuck in my door. I've had a Cheyenne lodge oath hanging over my head for a year. That filthy devil finally found a way to get to me.
You mean someone in particular?
One of the worst of the breed. Wasaya.
Yeah, I've heard of him. Quite a warrior.
You say he's had a personal hatred for you, Mr. Coons? Ever since last summer. I was scouting for the 7th. I run across his camp on that big north swing of the Solomon. You know, Captain, just before it flows into Grand Valley.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I led the troopers into it, and during the fracas, Wasaya's brother was killed. That's when he took the oath to put me under, or do worse. Now he's done it, taken Billy.
I'm sorry about your son, Coons. But the way I heard the story of that attack, Wasaya's wife and 8-year-old son were killed, too, by one of our scouts.
I didn't have nothing to do with it. I did what I was paid to.
Captain, the man's child's been kidnapped. I see no reason to discuss anything else.
The Army's supposed to protect the civilians.
What makes you so sure it was Wasaya?
Well, he brought his band into the Laramie foothills 2 days ago. Put that and the knife and his oath together, and there's no place else to look.
Where'd you hear he was in this part of the country?
Your breed scout, Quanto, got wind of it.
I should think you would have learned about it in your patrol, Captain.
No, we were working in the other direction, Major.
No.
I heard this morning. Right away, I got the feeling about what happened, and I started looking for sign around my place. I found it right enough. A wash about a half-mile away. Tracks of 9 ponies headed south toward the hills. I want that Cheyenne dog brought in and hung up where I can see it.
Sergeant Gorse?
Yo.
Go look up Quanto. He says there's a band of Cheyenne in the Laramie foothills. I want to talk to their head man. Find out where they are, pick out 10 good men for the patrol, including you.
Yes, sir.
You'll make provision for me to go with you, Captain.
There won't be much in the way of provision, Major, but you're welcome, sir. Coons, you go tell your story to Major Daggett. As soon as I get word from him, we'll move out.
All right, Captain.
Oh, Coons. How old is your stepson?
9 years next month, if he's still alive.
Same age Wasaya's son would have been. Well, if they're together, I don't think you have to worry about Billy being anything but alive and well.
You got a lot to learn about Cheyenne, Captain.
Maybe you could teach me. You want to come along?
I'll go talk to the major.
There goes a man with a bad conscience.
What about your own, Captain? You seem to feel more sympathy for the savage than you do for this poor man who's lost a child. I hardly think your attitude right for a man in your position.
I suppose it won't look good in your survey report, sir, but there's a popular idea out here I've never been able to swallow and keep down. That whatever a white man does to an Indian is all right, but whatever an Indian does is all wrong.
You and I are soldiers, Captain. We do not set policy. We follow it.
Yes, sir.
Fast water Quanto talked about's just around this bend, Captain.
I know. I caught some beautiful trout in that stretch.
That's where their camp's supposed to be.
Hadn't you better order carbines at the ready? A show of preparedness, Captain?
Little late for that, Major. They've had their eye on us for at least an hour.
Why do you bring a small force into a situation like this? Surely you don't trust them not to catch us in ambush.
I don't trust them, Major. I know them. The best place for ambush was about 2 miles back. We've gone beyond the point of carbines at the ready. There you are, Major, up ahead, waiting for us. Those are dog soldiers. Some of the best mounted fighters in the world.
We're well outnumbered, Captain.
We always are. Now, they'll come in to meet us at full run and screaming like banshees. That's their way. They don't want you to know whether they mean to be friendly or to open your throat. If we had our carbines ready, their run wouldn't be exactly friendly. Patrol! Halt! Keep your hands away from your weapons, men, unless I tell you different. Stay relaxed, the way you do on the parade ground when I want you to be alert.
You should have ordered out your full troop, Captain.
Captain, here they come.
I see him, Gorse. Act like this happens every day, men. Just rest easy in your saddles and talk to each other.
Captain, order carbines at the ready.
That an order, Major?
It's common sense. Show them we'll fight.
Don't draw your pistol, Major. You'll spook them for sure, waving that thing around. They'd have opened up by now if they were going to. Bahi, who is chief among you? Which of you is Messiah?
I am Messiah. Why do the soldiers come to us? We have done no wrong.
I brought you your scalping knife, Messiah. Here.
Huh. Where is the one called Coons? The woman killer, the child killer. Did he die of fear when he found my sign?
Why, that insolent beggar.
He says that you came for vengeance and that you stole his son.
I have stolen no son.
You were at his house, and now the boy is missing.
I have stolen no boy.
Oh, he's lying, Captain.
What does the high soldier say?
I say you are lying.
Major.
I speak true.
We'll search your camp and find out how much truth.
No, we want no soldiers in our camp.
Ain't there any way you can stop him, Captain?
You ever been able to stop me, Gorse?
Well, I'd sure try if you went off half-cocked like he
come
is.
To our camp, there is trouble. We want no trouble. We are at peace.
You don't want us in your camp because you're lying. The search is going to be made. And if you resist us, I'll see the whole 2nd Cavalry out to do the job.
Bandu Nikeno!
Patrol! Carbines at the ready!
Boots your carbines!
What was that, Captain?
Sorry, Major. They're going back to their camp.
Those insolent... Well, at least I've seen a prime example of what a soft policy brings about. The hostiles move up here from the 7th Cavalry area. Undoubtedly, they rest, repair equipment, and go back to take up the attack again.
Some of them do, some of them don't. There are good ones and bad ones with these people, same as there are with whites.
Well, until such time as a magician is attached to the 2nd who can distinguish between the two, Captain, pressure should be exerted against all of them. We'll return to the fort. I'm going to recommend that at least 2 troops are assigned to this matter until that boy's recovered.
With your permission, sir, I'll stay here. Sergeant Gorse will take command of the patrol and escort you.
Why on earth stay here? I need your statement at the fort.
You have plenty of other witnesses, sir. Before you come back with 2 troops of cavalry, I'd sort of like to see what one man can do in that camp.
You're thinking as an individual again, Captain.
A hard habit to break, sir. If it doesn't work, it'll make a strong point in your survey report.
Very well. I trust you don't expect commendation on your stubbornness. I do plan to make reference to your unmilitary behavior.
Be better if we could send old Brass Shoulders in alone.
Watch your manners, Sergeant.
Don't you want me to stay with you?
Thank you, Gorse, but I don't need you. This may look crazy, but I don't think I'll run into any trouble.
If that youngin's in there, you will, sir.
Yeah, I don't figure he is. I've been thinking. If I was Wasiah and had kidnapped the boy, I sure wouldn't have left a knife to point the finger at me. And I would have hightailed it out of these parts a long time before this.
I sure hope you're right, Captain.
Sergeant, I'm ready to go.
Not far enough.
Watch your manners, Gorse.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
Easy, easy.
Stop, soldier! You do not come in our camp.
Then come out here, Wasiah, so we can talk without being bothered by others.
Do we talk about the son I did not steal?
I believe you. I believe that you didn't steal him.
Your high soldier is blind. His words cut like flint.
He's new to this country. He has much to learn.
He went back. Does he bring more soldiers to attack us?
That's what's in his mind now. It'll take a day, so you have time to move your camp.
Strange words from a soldier. Why do you stand with me when the high soldier says I lie?
I've heard much of you, Wasiah. If you were going to steal a son, you'd do it better than this.
I say this. The days are gone when a son brought only gladness to his father. Now the father looks to the day when his son reaches manhood and sees nothing but sadness and hunger and fighting a war that will not be won. Some nights, when sleep runs away from me, I think of my son, and I am happy that he is not with me to share the trouble that follows us. I would steal no son. I have nothing to give him.
Do you truly want peace, Wasiah?
A peace with honor, yes. We are tired of fighting and running.
This is a small thing, a missing child, when you measure it against the bigness of the trouble that we're all in, all the tribes, all the army units. But it's a thing that could stir everything up again. Word from the major could go to Washington.
His words from his mind.
They'd be believed because no other words could go to say they were wrong. I'd like to stop it, Wasiah. Would you help me?
How would a Cheyenne help a soldier?
If you and I could find the boy and take him back, everyone would know that you were a man of honor and truth, and that you lead a peaceful band.
Then the high soldier's word would be lies.
You'd be right, and he'd be wrong.
For that, I would help. But how?
Have any other new bands moved into this section that could have taken the boy?
One Shoshone and one from my tribe.
Could you find out if they have him?
Yeah.
Will you do it?
I will.
While you do that, I'll try and get a line on him. Will you meet me in the wash near Coon's place at sunrise tomorrow?
Do you know what you asked me to do? To help the man who killed my son and my wife?
I know, Wasiah.
We meet at sunrise, soldier.
Hold.
I am here, soldier.
You hide well. What did you learn?
The boy is not with the Shoshones and not with the Cheyenne.
Then we have another way to go. He has an uncle in the Rock River settlement. He's talked to some of his young friends about going to live with him. He told them the trail he'd take. If I put you on it, could you pick up his sign and follow it?
I have followed older sign.
We'll go then.
Wait. He fell here.
All right. Look there, piece of cloth. I'd say he has torn clothing and a sore knee.
He rested here. Slept, I think. See, the grass is pressed down.
He's traveled a long way for an 8-year-old.
I think not much farther than this. He started very slow from here. There, soldier.
Billy? Billy? We're going to take you home.
No, I won't go back.
It's all right, Billy.
Who is he?
His name is Wasiah. He's a friend of mine.
You are a good, strong boy to come this far. If I had a son, I would hope he would be so strong.
You've got a nasty bruise on your face, Billy. You must have taken a bad fall.
He hit me.
Who did?
My paw. With a stick. He hit me till I ran away.
Here, let's see under your shirt. Yeah, he sure did hit you, didn't he?
I won't go back. My paw hit me again.
Come on. Stand up, Billy. Look, I don't blame you for running away. I guess I'd have done the same thing.
I won't go back.
If you want to live with your uncle, I think we can work it out.
In Rock River?
Yeah. And instead of trying to get there all by yourself, how would you like it if you could ride with the cavalry?
By myself? On a horse?
Yes. Horse all your own. Now, you ready to start back?
I won't stay with my paw.
You won't have to.
Come here, boy. You ride with me on my pony.
No, I don't want to.
Why, sure you do, Billy. Think what you can tell your friends. I'll bet none of them have ridden with a real Cheyenne warrior. Come on now. Show them how brave you are.
Come here, boy. Am I strong enough to lift you up? Oh. He not know the feel of a white man on his back.
You all right, Billy?
Does this pony run fast?
Oh, yes. Faster than prairie fire. I go. Wait, soldier.
They're forming the two troops for the big search.
I go no farther.
I know how you feel because I felt the same way riding into your camp. But the major from Washington won't believe you had a part of this unless you ride in with me. You have my word that everything will be all right.
I go on your word.
Right up to the major, Wasiah. Captain Quince reporting, sir.
Well, this savage did steal the boy. In spite of his surrender, he's to be punished.
This is no surrender.
Give me the details, Captain.
I'd rather you ask the boy, sir.
All right, son. What did he do to you?
He didn't steal me. He found me. I ran away because my paw hit me with a stick. He does it lots of times, and I won't go back. I just won't.
Order the troops dismissed.
Yes, sir.
Prepare to dismount. Prepare to dismount.
Come on, Billy. We'll find you something to eat. I'd stay out of the 7th Cavalry territory for a while. The high soldier is going to be moving that way.
There is very far place where there are many antelope. I think my people are hungry for antelope.
My thanks go with you.
Mine stay with you. You grow strong, boy. One day you can beat your stepfather. I leave my vengeance with you.
I go.
Goodbye.
Come on, Billy.
Captain?
Yeah, Gorse?
Old Ironside sure don't want to admit there's such a thing as a good Injun, does he?
He's a better soldier than we are, Sergeant.
What?
He operates strictly from the book. Maybe in the next situation, the book will be right.
Fort Laramie is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald and stars Raymond Burr as Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry, with Vic Perrin as Sergeant Gorse. The script was specially written for Fort Laramie by Gil Dowd, with sound patterns by Bill James and Ray Kemper, musical supervision by Amerigo Marino. Featured in the cast were Lawrence Dobkin, Clayton Post, Ralph Moody, Jack Moyles, and Richard Beals.
Company, tension! Dismiss.
Next week, another transcribed story of the Northwest frontier and the troopers who fought under Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry. Each Monday through Friday evening, CBS Radio rings you in on the fabulous adventures of insurance investigator Johnny Dollar. Just by decoding the cryptic items in his expense account, you'll learn how a dime spent in a phone booth can lead to a scene of the wildest suspense. Then on to a sum spent for an airplane ticket or an item for a new shoelace. And again, you'll find yourself smack in the middle of a thrill-packed situation. Each new adventure moves the story forward to its dramatic payoff when Johnny Dollar solves yet another case of arson, fraud, or murder. Every Monday through Friday night over most of these same stations, hear yours truly, Johnny Dollar.